It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know. I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is December 26th. It's Boxing Day over here in Canada. Hope you guys had an amazing and awesome Christmas time. I'm actually recording this on Christmas Eve around 9-10 p.m. And we have this amazing kind of lake and park over here where you're able to, they kind of decorate everything with lights and such. So it's kind of cool. You get to see everything like this. But hoping everyone had an amazing and awesome Christmas. And you had a good time at service, good time with family, good time with friends. Just a couple of interesting things that I do want to bring up. Because, I'm with my family at the moment. So what's happening is, I get some good conversations with my mom. And my mom made a bet with me, all right? So the question is, what's the bet? Well, she told me something amazing, all right? So she told me that she's writing the Bible in English, like word for word. And, already there, I think that's pretty incredible. And I was like, you're writing the Bible in English word for word? And she said she's been doing it for the last 2 years. And she's almost finished the Old Testament now. And she said she does it for 1 or 2 hours a day. A couple hours a day she does it. And she's been doing it for 2 years. She's almost finished the Old Testament. And she's getting into the New. And the bet is, it's between me and my mom. It's like $500. So what's the bet? The bet is whether I will get to 10,000 subscribers first, or whether she'll be able to finish the Bible in English first. So that's kind of the bet we have right now. And, it kind of works out because it's between family. So I consider this like a friendly bet. It is a large amount and a large wager, but I was thinking to myself, it's not, it's between me and my mom, so it should be fine and okay too. But, so that's kind of cool. But I'm actually really, really impressed because she's not doing this like writing the Bible because of the bet. She's already been doing it for 2 years, and now she's just kind of reaching to that point where she's almost finished, right? So now it's just turned into a bet, which is kind of cool, right? So I really respect my mom for this. And she says that after she finishes it in English, she's going to be starting to do it in Korean after too. So I'm sure that's going to be a little bit easier for her. But it's kind of one of the things that she's really, after being retired, she really wants to do, she needs to use her time wisely and meaningfully. And she's writing the Bible, which I think is incredible. It's like that would be the same as me writing it in Korean, and that would take me forever. I'm already looking at it like I don't want to do it. I really, really don't want to do it because it's not even my native language, right? So that was something that I was looking at, and I was like, wow, that's really impressive. And I kind of see how or why even more, how Sansi talks about lineage and spirituality. And I can kind of see here, it's like, oh, okay, so I can see my family kind of has that spiritual lineage too, which makes it, I think it's a big condition that is set so that, that even I can come to Providence at this time too. So that's something that I was like, wow, that's really incredible. The other thing that I was thinking about was how we're all talking about Christmas and stuff, and how important Christmas is for like Christians around the world and such. But, you know, if you live in a Christian country, a lot of people do talk. I did talk about this one of the podcasts about how, what was I saying? I said how some Christians don't even like to celebrate Christmas because of several reasons, right? And I actually didn't talk about it in this podcast. I talked about it in the Rebel Pastor. And there are several reasons, right? And a couple of them are, number one is, you know, it's not even in the Bible stating to celebrate Jesus' birthday. There's one of the reasons. Another one is they say that December 25th is actually a pagan holiday that we took and we made it into Christmas. There was another one out there too about how it's commercialized and stuff by the world. And I was thinking about a couple of these things. And I think first and foremost, the important thing that, well, the thing that I would say is quite reasonable is this. I think it's quite reasonable in one sense, as in, you know, when you look at your country, even if it's a Christian country or not like you're probably looking at half your country that is not Christian, right? Half your country isn't. So on Christmas, the people who don't believe and who don't celebrate Christmas, what are they going to do? They're actually going to do whatever they want, and they're going to make it the way they want. What does that mean? Well, they'll make it into things like they'll use it for their time with their family. They'll use it for their time with, with their lovers. They'll use this time in such a way because they don't believe, they're not going to celebrate it the way that we celebrate it, right? And of course, for us, do we force people to do it? And the answer is absolutely not, right? So we're not forcing people to do it anyways. And even if we went to another country, if we went to I was in Malaysia like several weeks ago. In Malaysia, do you think that because it's a Muslim country, that if there is a holiday that I'm going to celebrate and then go worship like in a mosque, if I'm not like Muslim? And the answer is no. Like I will spend that holiday that's for the entire country and use it the way that I want. You know what I mean? So when I think about it in a very reasonable way, like you can't really get away from commercialization because it's going to be done by people who don't believe and who are not, going to be celebrating. And in the same way, if we're thinking very reasonably also, we don't go to another country and on their holiday start celebrating the way and worshiping their gods too, right? So I was like, yeah, I think it'd be fairly reasonable to think that that it's going to get commercialized. It's going to be used in a way that's not the proper way and such. And I think that's going to be quite a normal thing. So I was just thinking like, yeah, I think it's okay. And they're going to do it, and that's okay. And the only thing that we need to watch out for, the only thing that we need to think about is whether we commercialize it or not is going to be the bigger thing, right? Whether we celebrate in the proper and right way is going to be the real question that we need to, ask ourselves too, if we are believers and if we are in this history. I was thinking something else too, because I was talking to, I talk to several members all the time. And when I'm talking to these members, one of the things I do talk about is, like, we do talk about this history. We do talk about what is happening in this history too. And there's going to be times, pretty much like, man, my fingers are freezing. There's going to be times where, some people are not going to do things the way that God wants. And some people are even going to outright disobey the Lord. It's going to happen. And I thought to myself is like, if that actually happens, what would you do? Like, how would you deal with that person? Would you be super strict and would you say, oh, how dare you? And would you do it like this or that? And I thought to myself is, of course, we disagree. And of course, we don't think it's the right thing to do. However, even if we don't agree, it's still their life and their choice, their decision. And in the end, the most important thing is going to be their salvation, right? And I think in the beginning, when people first make their own decisions in their life, I think it's going to be a very emotional decision, like very emotional. So it's not really the time to like tell them, oh, you shouldn't do this, you can't do this or that, right? Like I just don't think that's not the proper thing to do, because they're in an emotional state, right? Like that's something that has to be done after like everything calms down, all the emotions calm down, and then after you're able to have like genuine conversations after. But during that time, there's always going to be justification. There's always going to be emotional reasoning behind it. And because of that reasoning, what's going to happen is people, it was already a hard enough decision that they're going to kind of, they'll die on their mountain, right? They're going to die on that mountain because it's like, oh, that's exactly what they've been struggling with and deciding for a long time. And what I would say is, in this history, we're going to be dealing with this a lot. We just are. It's going to be a pretty regular thing, I think. It will be a regular thing. It's going to be something that we're going to be dealing with in the future even more. And how we deal with it now is like, it's a new experience, but we have to really deal with it in such a way where we have the empathy, the compassion, but we also have to be very clear on what is right and what is wrong. And the hard part I would say is, especially when it comes to people who are in Providence, the one hard part is they already know whether something's right or wrong, right? They already know. And because they already know what is right or wrong, it's not like anything that you say, they're not going to understand and say like, oh my gosh, no, oh, I totally didn't know. No, they're going to know. And they're knowingly going against what God wants, right? And it's a decision they have to make. And I would say that we definitely need to wait after, right? After all the emotional time like settles. And then, then you can have like more of a genuine conversation that's not defensive or thinking about, whether we're thinking that we're judging them or something along the line. Because, oops, sorry about this. My hands are freezing, so I am putting my scarf around my hand. But I would say that, it's kind of true in one sense that we're not supposed to judge, right? Yeah, like only God is a judge. But that's, I would say that we're not supposed to judge means we're not the ones that are going to judge the heart in the very end. We're not going to be the ones that judge when, whether someone goes to heaven or hell. That's totally not up to us. But there is something that we can judge, right? And, it's, whenever I teach Bible study too, it always comes down to the same thing, right? And 1 Corinthians 4:5 says, judge nothing until the appointed time when the Lord comes again and reveals all things. And when I look at that, I think the most important thing about that is that since there is truth and we have it, right? And that's a really, really important thing. Since we have that, what's the most important thing going to be after that? Well, since we have it, then after receiving truth, we know the difference, like the absolute difference between right and wrong. And that's one of the most important parts is, that's the one thing. Once you know what is absolutely true, that's the thing that's supposed to set your moral code, right? And if we are all believers in Providence and in this history, then what does that mean? Well, then that means, then that's going to mean that because now we have truth and everyone in Providence follows that truth, we're kind of able to judge, right? Judge on what is right and what is wrong. And I think that's a normal thing and that's an okay thing too. We should be able to judge it once we know what truth is. And that's why, I can understand where some people might say, oh, I feel so judged. And the answer is, yeah, in the end, if you're in this history and you know the truth, in the end, you judge yourself. can't help it, right? You just can't help it at all. Once you're, in this history and such, since you are judged by that very thing that we know, right? So even when I was looking at this, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, like that's something we do need to think about in this history. One of the, I guess you could say one of the difficult things, not the difficult things, what would you say? Not difficult. You would have to say that one of the things that's really hard and difficult is because we have absolute truth. And it's something that now we know the real right and wrong. Like when it comes to purity and other things like this, like there is an absolute judgment. And we can say that is wrong or right? Like even when you get to the New Testament level, it's very, very similar, right? Because once you know what's right or what's wrong, this is it sets the moral code for the next 2,000 years. And people will know, yes, what I'm doing is right, or no, what I'm doing is wrong. And that's something that we have to be very, very conscious of. And if anything, what I would say is the biggest reason why we feel so much guilt and why we're so sensitive of why people, we feel like, oh, people shouldn't judge me. I think it's even stronger for us because we not only do we know absolutely in our heart what is right and what is wrong, but it makes it even worse because when someone else points it out, we know it's absolute, and that's why it's like, oh, you feel even more guilty. And with that guilt, what are you going to do? We try to find some way to lessen the blow, or lessen the hurt. And how does that happen? Well, you lessen it by kind of putting the blame on other people, like, oh, it's because they judge, because they're doing this, because they're doing that. And, then they shouldn't be doing it that way. And the answer is true, right? It's true is you shouldn't be doing it that way. Obviously, you shouldn't be judging, right? However, I think what happens is it becomes even more, the guilt becomes even more stronger and more powerful because without a doubt 100% that it's wrong, right? You know it. And because you know it, you have no choice but to acknowledge it. And then when someone else says it, you double acknowledge it. And then if other people say it, you triple acknowledge it. And it's so true and so deep in our hearts that I think the pain is even more stronger. And, for human psychology also, when we have guilt, we want to try to lessen it, and the only way we do it is to put the blame on other people, right? And that's why we're like, oh, we'll say things like, oh, I know I'm wrong, but they shouldn't have said that. And the answer is, it's true. It's true. It really is. It's true they shouldn't have said it, but it hurts that much more because we are living in absolute truth. And that's something that I was really thinking deeply about just the last couple of days, especially we're in the time of cleaning, right? We're in the time of cleaning. We're in the time of getting ourselves, fully clean before the end of the year, as God is doing a time of cleaning anyways, right? And I think that's something that we have to kind of recognize for ourselves all the more. But yeah, so, I have, for those of you guys who don't know, I have done a full round of this park. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It is the day after Christmas, and I really want to make sure that it's the 26th on a Friday. I wanted to make sure that everyone had a wonderful Christmas, but we still have, what do you have? We have 6 days left. 6 days left before the end of the year. So I think it's something where we still have 6 days to clean, 6 days to make ourselves better, 6 days to repent, and really think about what we've done for the past year in 2025. And I hope it's something that we can kind of get ourselves back to, especially with this week's message about do not abolish the daily sacrifice. And I think that's something that's very important for all of us too. So yeah, it's kind of cool doing these video podcasts, right? I think it's kind of cool. Although it's freezing, my hands are frozen, and I've been holding this camera up with my left arm for like the past 20 minutes, so it's pretty crazy. If I just find a place to sit, I think I will be, it'll be a little bit easier. And, oh, there are seats here. They're a little bit wet, I think, but yeah. Let me just see here. Oh yeah, they're super wet. But either way, yeah, it's, I hope that everyone, you know what's kind of interesting about this Christmas though? One thing I noticed about this Christmas, and I think everyone else noticed this too, is there was no theme for Christmas this year, right? Usually we have like a Christmas of love and peace, a Christmas of joy, but this year there was none of that. And it was basically a message just telling us to make sure we focus on Jesus and make sure that he is, we give glory to God in Thanksgiving. And I hope that everyone did that on Thursday for Christmas Day, that we gave a lot of glory. And I hope that we can do even more to end the year well, and then another 15 days of doing it so we can start the year well too for next year. Guys, I'm very, very grateful and thankful for everyone who's listened to this podcast over the last 5.5 years. We're going to be hitting 6 years pretty soon, and that's quite exciting for me, because we're well past the 1,500 episode mark, and now we're here. We've spanned across like 7-8 countries, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to continue this for another 1,500 episodes. At least another 1,500 episodes, which is like another 5.5 years. And even more than that, I am hoping that like this can make more of an impact on people, and that more people will be able to learn and gain things from it, and more people can participate in this too, right? So yeah, lots of things that I have been ruminating on over, the last, I've only been here, I've been here for like 3 days. I've only been here 3 days, or 2.5. No, exactly. It's been Tuesday. Yeah, it's actually I've only been here 2 days, but it actually feels like I've been here for a week, which is quite interesting. Yeah, guys, drop in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys do for Christmas and what you guys are planning for 2026, or for the end of the year also. I am hoping to spend a lot of time at church, a lot of time with the members here, and do my best if there's people that need to be lectured. Well, there are people on Zoom that I do need to lecture, that I have been lecturing from when I was in Korea, and finishing some people off. And then also I need to really get myself prepared and ready for 2026, which is quite exciting. All right, everyone, I hope you guys have an amazing and awesome Friday. It's Boxing Day in Vancouver, in Canada, which means it's the day that it's like another big shopping day, the day after Christmas. And I hope that everyone will be able to end this year well together with the Lord. All right, everyone, take care. Have an amazing and awesome end of 2026. And we'll see you guys again on Monday on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly, so let's realign. Just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, I'm on the Morning Star Drive,